Hello there, this is Dave Motorhead out in the garage, and I'm kind of pissed off today because yesterday I was working out here and I had some really cool footage of stuff, and I watched it yesterday and it was good, but somehow it got deleted, and I'm really upset that it didn't get, saved somehow, because it was pretty funny. Anyway, so I'm making a new intro for this video, which is making a emergency brake system for the short rampy. Short rampy didn't have any kind of emergency brake system at all. It just had cables tied together and they were all broken and it just looked like crap. Anyways, let me put the hat cam on and I'll show you what I'm doing. Put the hat cam on. Out here in the garage again, doing my thing. Anyways, what I was doing is I'm putting new let's crawl underneath this thing. Here's the cables. I just replaced this one. I did a video on that, which you will soon see. And there was just this wrapped around the emergency brake with a cable tie thing, or a cable clamp. It was like that. Oh, gee whiz. That's amazing. Maybe that's some good footage there too. I think it hit the camera. Good thing I got my safety glasses on. Anyways, it was clamped like that, and you can see the cable was breaking, and this cable was wrapped like that, and it was breaking. It was stupid. So anyways, what I'm doing is, there's part of what I've already videoed. I've saved this part, kinda. And I'll come back to that later. Oh. And I'll be right back with you where I left off from yesterday. Okay, I'm back. Had to do a few modifications, and what I've done is I put a pad down there, and I'm not going to use the creeper. I'm going to lay on my back, because that's just the kind of man I am. Well, let's get back under here what we were doing. Anyway, as I was saying, I'll pull this out a little bit. Man, I'm on my back more than a Hollywood hooker. I don't get paid as much, though. Anyway, so what I was doing is I was going to use these pieces of metal here to make me a fulcrum type assembly system. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm looking at that cable right there, and I want to measure where the cable is. It looks like it's about 1.5 inches to center. Yeah, about an inch and about 1.5 inches it looks like. Because what I want to do is I want to put a bend in this piece here, and I want it to be about the same height as where the cable is coming out. That way I get a straight pull on the cable here. So I want to put me a piece up in here like this, and I only want it to be about 1.5 inches up. So that way it can it'll be on the same plane there as the cable. So about 1.5 inches, I guess, is what I want. So I want the top of this to be about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and bend this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it, put a bend in it to where it sits up in this channel at the right height. And then I can bolt it right here, and I can bolt it right there. Put 2 bolts in it. And then this side over here, I can bend up like that, and then put a bolt through it going this way to hold it in place. So that way this piece will be bolted between these 2 cross members and be nice and solid there. So I'm going to go ahead and bend me a 1.5 inch high bend in this piece here. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back out from underneath the truck now. Got the hat cam adjusted, hopefully. And I took my piece of steel and I marked it. Kind of marked it anyways. Let's see, there's too many marks on it. Those marks were on there before. I can't remember which one was which. So what I'm going to do is there's my mark right there. I'm going to put this up in the vise here. And I only want it to be about right there. And I'm going to put a bend in it. So I'm going to do this, and actually you can get like a square here. I can make sure that it's square, So it's bent right. Look at that. Perfect. First time. Huh? Old Motorhead's got an eye. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my favorite tool here, which is the big slammer hammer, and I'm just going to frickin' beat it. And I use this because if I go like that, it might bend it in the middle. But I want it to bend down here, so I'm going to bend it like that. See that? Everything's going flying around in here. Put me a nice, good, freaking 90-degree in it. Love using them hammers. Just love them hammers. It looks like about a 90-degree. I could use this, but I don't want to figure out. Yep, perfect. See, that's perfect. Anyway, so I got that now. I want to go back up underneath here. Yes, my friends. I can tell by the look of you that you will be drunk tonight. And then I can set that. Actually, it's not going to bend like that. Look at that. That's just about perfect right there. And it lines right up. And I'm going to have to put it right here next to the mount for the gas tank. But that looks just about right, like gold there. And then I'm going to mark this side where I want to bend that up. Okay, that's where I want to bend that. Alright, well, I'm going to finish bending this piece of metal up, and then when I'm done with that, I'll get right back to you. Okay, we got our second bend in there. You see, it's kind of a Z. Now what I want to do is I want to get down underneath there. Let me get back on my back, Jack. I want to test fit it. See, we're going to go right next to the hole here. Okay, and now I want to check this and see where we're at. We're at 2 7/8 from the bottom of the bed rail. What are we at this side? 2 7/8 right there. I'm trying to keep this parallel with the bottom of the bed, which will make it like this. If you can see, this is lower and that's higher. So we're at 2 7/8 there. And on the same rail, 2 7/8 right there. So I want to mark that. Mark that with my thing in there. Okay, that's, you know, it's almost right at the top of the bed. That piece almost goes right up in there. Okay, so now that we've got that marked, what I want to do, get off my back, Jack, is I'm going to drill a couple of holes in this part. I'm going to drill one bolt hole right here that'll hold it up against the bolt on that cross member, and then I'm going to drill 2 holes here, so that way when there's an extra bolt in it, it'll keep it from twisting that way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, so I'll be right back with you. Okay, now that I've got my piece bent, I need to drill some holes in it. So I grabbed me a few bolts here. These are for going through the rear cross member part because it's the channel, so I needed longer bolts. And I got a bigger one for the front there. And I just need to mark where my bolts are going to go. And since on this side I'm going to be doing 2, I'm just, you know, it doesn't have to be technical or anything, but I'm just putting the washers that I'm going to use on there and just gauging the distance from each side. And then I'm just going to find the middle and mark it with my little Sharpie here. And that's about center, I think. Close enough for government work. And then what I'm going to do, say it's center, I'm pretty good at judging that. I'm going to take my automatic hole or center punch. Well, if you guys got one of these, it's got a little piece of metal inside there. And you just set it up right where you want it, right center, and you just go like that. And it center punches it. Makes a mark for the center, and then that way I can start my drill. Whoops. Come on, get in there. I'm at a weird angle trying to get the camera to do its thing. Anyway, you just go like that, and you see it makes little marks there where you can start your drill bit. And these are kind of a handy tool because you just slap them in there and there you go. And it makes its own little center punch. It's called an automatic center punch tool. Handy tool. Anyways, I'm going to chuck this up in the drill press and I'll be right back with you. I'm going to drill these holes. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to drill holes in my plate there with this. And you might say to yourself, Dave, why are you doing it by hand with that hand drill when you have the world's most awesome World War II era Delta Milwaukee super drill press? Well, because I have other plans for this drill, and this is a step saving procedure. And so what I've got here is I got my piece of metal and I'm going to drill the holes in it. And what I like to do is turn my vacuum cleaner on. Because that way when I'm drilling, all the pieces go down inside the vacuum cleaner. You can see that. All my little shavings are going inside. So that's the way to do that. So you ain't got a big old mess. Anyways, that's why I drill my holes like that. Anyway, I'm going to finish drilling the other hole on the other side and I'll get back with you and show you why I'm using the hand drill for this. Okay, what I've got here, getting kind of dark outside. What I've done here, hopefully you can see that, is I have taken a welding vice grip and I've put my metal piece up in there with the holes drilled in it already. And I've got it to my line there. And I've checked it with a level. And I've checked it with, I put a level across it to make sure it's level. Because I want it to be level and it's level. And anyway, and I measured it from the frame on each side to make sure it's square in there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to really need to get these things out of the way, but I'm going to go up in here and I'm going to take my center punch, come on sucker, and I'm going to go inside the hole and I'm going to center punch the metal. You can see all the dust fly off. I'm going to center punch that, and I'm using those first holes I put in there as a template. See, now I'll center punch this one. See how easy that is to make a template here. That should be good enough. And then what I can do is I can take my drill. I'm just going to drill right through this. Now it's a template, but you see I won't get it straight that way, so I kind of, there's uno, and I do have my safety glasses on. You kind of want to make sure you get these things straight. Now here's the hard part. Okay, now I want to unclamp this thing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill these holes one at a time, because I'll bolt it on here before I drill the top hole. But anyway, that's why I didn't change my drill, because I wanted to use the same drill to drill the smaller holes. And I'm going to look at that and see. I'm just going to eyeball this. Usually I would put a template on this side, but I've been doing this a long time, and so I'm going to eyeball it, and I'm going to say, yeah, it's good that way, yeah, it's good that way. And if you look, pretty damn straight, I would say. Good enough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to a bigger drill bit, so I'll be back with you after that. Okay, I'm back with you. A new day, new battery pack. If you watched the beginning of this video, you know I had problems yesterday and I lost some footage, but that sucks. But I'm taking it up where I left off. what I got going now is I left off yesterday. I was drilling holes. So I got the bolt in there. I've got the bolts in up here. You can see that. I've drilled all this stuff and I'm all in. So now I got my mount there. And what I need to do is I need to figure out my lever system here. And what I'm doing is I also changed this cable out this morning, which I already made a video on that because that was a bad cable. So anyways, I've got this clamped on there where I want to make it pivot. And I've got the cable coming up front. And you know, the first thing I need to do there, let's check this out. Got the cable coming from up front, so we need to make sure that our emergency brake is off all the way, so we can get the right measurement on that. Let's see, it's not. So here we go. And if you can see inside this short rampy, I got my work cut out for me. It's all rusty and crusty and was painted crappy at one time, but anyway, so now I've got my emergency brake all the way down. So I need to do that. Just trying to get short rampy on the road here. Want to get this thing moving, and I kind of had to do all this underneath stuff first. You know, like welding the frame back together, and they shorten it. If you look up in here, it's the brake line. They just ran everything in a circle, and that was clamped up in there too, and everything was held together with baling wire, and the tranny cable's leaking. I'm going to do that next. I think I'll make a video of that, how to fix it. And you can see it's white coming out of there. I noticed it this morning, so there's water in there. Anyways, back to this. So let's, okay, I think that's our cable. Is all pulled out. Alright, if you see the cable's frayed, so I'm going to cut the cable off about right here, and I've got another one of these clasps I'm going to put on that cable. But this looks about where these two cables are going to meet on my lever. That looks about the best. So I'm going to go ahead and mark these with my pin. Pull this cable tight to where it's centered. I'll center that once I get out of here. Okay, that looks about where I want to put my cables, right there. Okay, then I'm going to mark this too on both sides so I know where it's at. So I know where to line it up. Okay. So I think that gives me a straight pull on both my cables. And if you can see what I got going here, I'm making me a new lever here to be able to pull this on there and do that. So I'm going to drill these holes in there next. Be right back with you. Doot, doot, doo, doo. Now that's a man's drill right there. Okay, I'm back. What I've done is, believe it or not, this is day 3 of working on this stupid thing. I've had all kinds of interruptions and everything. I think I've got all my things done. So anyway, what I've done is I've taken my Z brace back out so I could chuck it up in the drill press and drill my center hole here. That's my pivot hole that I marked in the previous video, you can see. So, and what I've done is I've gone to my local hardware store and bought a few things. I needed to match up this clevis pin, and what they had is the same diameter, but this one, it is a adjustable one, so I can cut that off the right length and use that. And also what I've done is I've picked myself up a brass bushing here. You can see that, and I've drilled my center hole where my pivot's going to be, and I want to put a bushing in there. So I've drilled that to fit the bushing. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this through my pivot. There's 2 holes for my brake cables. I still have 1 hole down here to go. And then I'm going to put this super thin flat washer over the bushing that I found in my washer bucket, so it looks like that. And then this is going to sit up in there like that. I'll be able to put my piece like that. Actually, it goes this way. And I will be able to put my piece together like that. So now I've got my pivot, and now all I've got to do is figure out the shank of my bolt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a shanked bolt, so that way when it goes through, it will I can tighten the nut up. You know, right here, it'll tighten it itself up on the bolt right there and let it pivot. You know, so that way it'll be tight and it'll pivot. I couldn't find the right shank bolt that I need, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bolt and I'm going to thread it a little bit farther than what it is, you know, and make my own shank bolt so it's the right length. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Also, I'm going to cut this bushing off flush with the bar here, so that way when I tighten it all up, it'll be nice and tight and it'll have this brass to pivot on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay. Now what I've got is I've got my pieces drilled out. I threaded my bolt a little bit shorter so I can retain the shank there. And now I'm going to figure out, let's see, this fits up in there like that. And I want it to hook on like that. I want it to be on the bottom. So what I need to do then is put my bushing in the top here. And then I'm going to put my little flat washer here over the bushing. Keep it in, come on. Anyway, I've got my flat washer on there now. I don't know why that doesn't want to fit through there. That's kind of weird. It's a tight fit. See, it's all these fantastic tolerances I've got here with my backyard engineering. Okay, so that's going to fit in there like that. And I want this to be swinging like that. So then I'll put this on there like this. Well, kind of tight, but I guess it's good. It'll last longer that way. There we go. My bushing's in place. And then I will put my little washer on there. Put my bolt through. Everything just wants to be tight today, but that's good. Put my washer that fits, if you notice it fits around the bushing, and then we'll put our nut on and tighten this thing up. Yeah, doing this is fun. Of course, the radio has to play a commercial right when I'm doing this instead of some awesome rock and roll. And what my hope is that once I get this tightened up, make sure that washer's over the bushing there, is that it will be nice and smooth. Okay, I've got that tight now, and now you see I've got myself a nice little pivot there. This will fit up in there. My brake rod or cables will hook on here. My one from up front will hook on there, and I've got a nice smooth pivot now because I've got a bushing in there. If you look, it doesn't tweak at all. And this is tight, and the bolt will still spin, but it's still tight. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hack this off, cut it down to there, and I'm going to bolt this part back in the truck. So I'm going to do that next. Okay, I'm back now, and I've finished up my system here. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all bolted together. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of dark down here. You can see it. Alright, what we've got here is we've got my support bolted on. Go to there. We got the pivot that I made. We've got both of our brake cables clasp on there. If you see, it goes back there, it goes back there. We've got our cable coming from the front, clasp on here with the return spring, so it'll all work wonderful now. The only thing I don't like is I've got a cable clamp on here. I cut the other clasp off the broken cable, and I used the piece that was still good on it. But that's going to do for right now. I'll probably put a backup clamp on there, but eventually I want to put an end on this cable and put a new ball on it. And this cable's still good, so I'm still going to use that. But anyway, that's how it works, and that's how it looks when it's all done. It's fabricated up, and let's go see if it works. Let me crawl out from underneath here. I always make noise when I crawl out from underneath there. Okay, you can see our tire rolls nice and good right now. Let's go around here. It's getting cloudy. Maybe get some rain, hopefully. And let's pull our emergency brake. Got us a nice solid pull on there now. Our tire doesn't move. We're all nice and tight now. We got us a emergency brake. Let's look back underneath here. And there it is in brake position with the spring extended. And anyway, there you go. There you go. Now I have emergency brakes for the short rampy here. But what the heck is that noise? Oh. Hey, chicken, what are you doing? Huh? Listening to Led Zeppelin? Anyway, let's get back over here and finish up this video. Here, this is Dave Motohead, and it took me 3 days to make that video with all the getting up and getting down and interruptions that I've had. But anyway, that is fabricating a emergency brake system for short rampy with Dave Motohead. And you know, if you use your head a little bit, you can fix most anything in the shop. So hope you liked it, and thanks for watching.